In this demo, we're going to be creating a full bundle of pink flowers, and we're actually adding some variegated pit, because it does say that on our recipe sheet that we're going to use a full bundle and the pittosporum, and we're going to use a white container. One thing we do want to be very careful of is to read our specifications on our recipe to see how tall we need to make it. So you need to make sure you have either a ruler or something that you can be sure, as we're doing our first one, we can really get our bearings on what size our design needs to be. So we're going to start with our container. We have here, I'm going to pull out what pittosporum is in there. There's just one that's fairly small, so I know I'm going to need more. So let's just start with our foliage. Remove any leaves that will be below the water level. Give it a clip. And this will give us a nice nest to put our flowers in. Okay, so we're going to start with that. If we need to add more later, we can. We do have a little bit more. And we're going to remove the rubber band from our bundle. Kind of separate that. Look at anything again that will be below the water level. We're going to remove those stems. Usually like to try to group my flowers together then. So I have my roses, I have my alstroemeria, take a look at them. If there's any damaged flowers or foliage, just gonna remove those. I have my spray roses. The carnations, we're gonna fluff those or open them up a little bit, hold right onto the calyx and just give them a very gentle opening. They will open naturally when they start drinking that water. So it's not, you don't want to do anything that's going to take a lot of time, right? We're going to pay attention to our quality, and then we want to obviously create the design as quickly as possible. Remove any of those leaves. They're very heavy. I usually leave at least one on. Okay. Again, here's more alstroemeria. Grouping them together. If you have some leaves on or rose thorns on here, you can either use a rose stripper or just take your finger and just move them to the side and it'll break them off so that they're not going to poke you while you're designing, right? All right. And we have our snapdragon. So then we have some beautiful eucalyptus that we're using as well. So we have all of this. We're going to start creating our design. Now, the alstroemeria will take more room in their arrangement, so it's always nice to have something that'll help the other flowers stay in place. So we're going with our alstroemeria, one of the first, and we're keeping in mind, we look at our recipe and we can go up to 14 inches wide. So, you know, we're getting really close to that already, so that's good. With this last alstroemeria, that will put us where we need to be on that. So here's our alstroemeria, here's our width. Now our height, we're going to look at, and we're saying, and that with the eucalyptus, I can go 15 inches high. So don't always have to have that next to you. After you create that first one, you're going to get a feel for what that needs to be. So I have my eucalyptus for my height. So that's about as high as we can go or want to go. And you'll know what looks in proportion as we're putting those together, right? So we have that. Use our snapdragons in this one. That white. Again, remove anything below the water line. Let's together. Now again, our spray roses are taking a lot of space in here. So we're going to go ahead and use those next. Put them in. Oh, maybe I want them a little shorter. If you have some with large breaks on them, you might want to remove those and be able to place them in individually if necessary. If you don't, the less insertions the better, of course, but sometimes it's good to have those. We turn the arrangement to the back side. So as you can see, I put one on this side. I'm going to balance that with the other one on the opposite side of my design. So then I have that same color balance, one on each. Now roses, I have 3. So we're going to create those. Looking at our picture, I can see that they're kind of all nestled together. So if I put one in, and I put a second one close to that, and the third one, so it's kind of behind there. Now, so the third one is going to be able to be seen on the back side. Now you can see I have our 3 roses in place. Now lastly, we have our carnations, and we're going to use those to disperse our color through the design. It's a beautiful pink design, and we remember that these flowers are very tight as we're designing them, so they're going to open beautifully and give a more full design to the customer as they open more. So we've incorporated those flowers. We look around and say, okay, now I do want to fill in with just a little bit more foliage. In this case, the eucalyptus here. So I'm going to use more pittosporum and use that towards the edge. And we call this collaring the design. It helps the flowers stay in place, gives a really good look for our customer, and makes it nice and stable for delivery purposes. And the 2 eucalyptus at the top to be a little closer together, and then we have one more to insert. And there we have a beautiful finished design.